presented by Neutral. I'm Anthony Totri, joined as always by this guy, Shedeur Sanders himself, Shawn DePaz.
Yeah.
Shawn, we got a big week this week.
I would say a huge week.
The
massive week.
The biggest of weeks.
The hugest. The bigly.
The girthiest.
The bigly week.
The girthiest of weeks, because Deion, Coach Prime Sanders himself is going to be in Tempe along with the Colorado Buffs to be taking on Kenny Dillingham and Arizona State. We are going to obviously get into that matchup all week long. Today we've got some clips from Deion, Coach Prime Sanders' press conference talking about ASU and Kenny. We'll get to that at a certain point. We've also got some clips of Kenny at his press conference talking about Shedeur Sanders and Coach Prime. Some interesting stories kind of along the way with the way that these two coaches have crossed paths. And then obviously leading up to just a giant game, I think, for really both of these programs, Coach Prime and the Buffs. You look at the way that they've played the last 2 weeks. Obviously, it feels a little bit different than all the hype and love that they were getting at the start of the season. So obviously they are looking for a big win over Arizona State. And on the flip side of that coin, for Dilly and the boys, right, it would be massive to go out there and really steer the ship and get a massive win over a program in Colorado that has so many national eyes on it. It would be absolutely wild. JJ in the chat, John Rothstein in Tempe for hoops practice, just dropping that in. He tweeted that he was
he did his Rothstein 45 or started it, and he had ASU at 44, I believe. So I don't know. See what Rothstein thinks about
things you love to see. So we'll get into all that. We've got our Pac-12 Power Rankings as well that we're going to get to. But before all that, Shawn, how was your weekend, man?
I mean, my weekend. I was like, what are you talking about? It's
Tuesday, but I wasn't here yesterday. So
I don't even remember what I did over the weekend. ASU lost. The Bills kicked the Dolphins' ass, so that was fun.
That was something.
U of A did not pull off the upset, so that was also fun. D-backs sucked this weekend, but they clinched, so that was kind of fun.
You got a big game today.
The biggest.
The girthiest of games.
The hugest.
Things you love.
Yeah, we do. How was your weekend?
It was good. I moved. It's officially done with. The move is done.
Sounds nice.
So I can't use that as an excuse anymore for things.
Hopefully none of us have any big moves coming up.
Yeah, well, guess we'll find out, won't we? But yeah, that happened. It was my brother's 21st birthday yesterday, so baby. shout out Nick. He's 21, and we made sure to get him good and drunk yesterday. And he was. I got a call from my mom this morning telling me that my little brother was on the couch throwing up all night long. Like he had this big old
finally can partake in the OGs and the 4 Peaks.
Yeah. Oh, and all the betting as well.
True.
So it's the moment that hit midnight, he got all the codes.
Now he could finally
got all the codes, man. It was something.
Code PHNX.
Let's go ahead and get into this matchup though between Dilly and Prime, because this is obviously the first time that these two are on the opposite side of each other as head coaches. Kenny was obviously with Oregon last year as the OC. And I believe, I might be wrong here, Florida State, a couple years ago, did they lose to, was it Jackson State that they lost to, or was it a different school that they had lost to?
I don't remember.
I don't think that either one of these guys have coached against one another, except maybe that one time. But in reality, I think there are going to be a lot of eyes on this game, and we already kind of talked about just how important it is going to be for both of these squads to come out on top. Obviously for Arizona State, and for me, there's a lot on the line here, simply because since these coaching hires were made, I've been a little boisterous about my thoughts on Coach Prime, and then obviously Dilly as well. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. I think you are going to see fireworks when we hit that game on Saturday, just because of both these offenses. I don't think, the CU defense isn't great by any means.
Not at all.
But on the flip side of that coin for ASU, it's been kind of hiccups on offense as well. So what are your just early expectations of this game?
It's going to be really interesting, just because it's just kind of one of those games where the matchups kind of make it like what's going to give, right? It's maybe not a great offense versus not a great defense, and a pretty electric offense versus a pretty solid defense from as far as Colorado's offense is concerned and ASU's defense. I don't know. I expect this to be kind of just like a weird, gross game for some reason. Like
A gross game?
Yeah, I just feel like this defense is going to make Shedeur a little uncomfortable, and we've seen what happens when he's uncomfortable. Obviously, not quite sure if Travis Hunter's going to be back, and I think that's going to make a pretty big difference as far as how I think this game is going to go.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like he's gonna go. To be
No,
honest
he's not.
with you.
Okay,
No,
so
Prime said he's about 2-3 weeks away still.
Oh wow! So yeah, I mean that's a big loss for them, obviously, that they're still dealing with. I mean, I just expect them to be better than they were last week. Like I think this is, I think one of the things that we were most excited about last week is that they were gonna hopefully finally have some consistency. Have the same starting quarterback in back-to-back weeks. Kind of have some of the guys like Jalen back and healthy. So I'm just, as far as the offense is concerned, just looking for another step forward, especially against a defense that we said is not that great. And then defensively, just keep doing what they've been doing. To be quite honest, you've seen defenses give this offense trouble. Obviously, this is not as talented as Oregon's defense, but that defense held what I think is a good Colorado offense to 6 points. So if they can find ways to make them uncomfortable again, I think ASU is a pretty solid shot.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a game. I believe the opening line was 6.5. It's somewhere between 4.5 and 6.5.
I get that it's here, but I'm still just not over the Cal line. Like that doesn't
the 13.5.
It
really doesn't make sense.
It didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense now. Like obviously they lost the game, which is
by 3.
But by 3, not by 2 possessions. And now Colorado is, I would say, a significantly better team than Cal. And again, I know it's at Mountain America Stadium this time, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make a whole lot. At least the Cal line didn't make a whole lot of sense. We talked a lot about that. This line, I can see the 4.5. I can see the 6.5 because you look at the way that ASU, again, offensively played against USC a few weeks ago. Looked really, really strong. And then you look at the way Trenton Bourguet played last week, and he played, I felt, like a pretty solid game all around. And then on the flip side, Deion and CU, they clawed their way back into that USC game, but they did get boat raced against Oregon. So I don't think there's any doubt that CU should be the favorite in this game.
Yeah, no.
But I think that this is another opportunity for ASU to win. I would say this game and the Arizona game are the only games at this point that, from my perspective, you're like, okay, Arizona State has, they're not going to be wild underdogs in these two games. Yeah. Because I just don't think that these other two teams have shown enough to warrant that yet. No. At least in my personal opinion.
No, yeah. So, I mean, specifically Colorado, it's just, I think Colorado is similar to ASU in the sense that, you don't really know what they are quite yet. Like, obviously, I think everyone thought that Colorado was this great team off rip after they beat 2 not great teams, and they started playing some great teams, and they looked awful, and now they don't have a number anymore. Like, I don't really know what they are, and I think obviously we've all been banging the drum that ASU is just better than what they've been so far this year. So, it's, I don't know. It's just a really interesting game. Like when you put aside all of the outside stuff that comes with playing Colorado, it is just like a really interesting game because I think these are two teams that have a lot to prove. But I don't know if there's really an opportunity to do that. Like I don't know. As far as ASU is concerned, like I don't think they have anything to lose because everyone's going to be looking for Colorado and expecting Colorado to win and all that. But that's kind of been the situation ASU's been in for like 3 weeks now.
I mean, I think the way that this game gets kind of tossed around in a negative light for Arizona State is if you get blown out.
Yeah, of course.
You can't afford to get blown out. I don't think at any point in that Colorado game and then the U of A game, like you just don't have the breathing room for that, right? I think there are a lot of issues of, people staying healthy or, the quarterback situation or all that type of stuff. So you really, at the end of the day, you need to keep this competitive the way that you kept USC competitive. And I think this is a little bit more so than that USC game, or a lot more so than that USC game, is a game if you keep competitive all the way in the end, you're at home. Yeah. Similar to, again, USC, when you have that crowd, because I do imagine you will have a crowd in Tempe for this game, whether they're CU fans or ASU fans, like it is going to be another big environment for this team to hopefully show up and take down a team that does have a lot of national eyes on it. So it's going to be fun.
It's just going to be interesting to see how these players, like obviously everything that comes with USC, like that game, but like this is the game that comes with all the outside noise and all that outside attention. You know, if you say anything about this Colorado team, it's going to be held under a microscope.
You give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
Exactly. And so, like, you definitely don't want to be that player, right? Like, High Point Thursday or 6. You don't want to be that guy that comes out here and is saying something about Deion on a public forum, and then it goes. Honestly, though, we might need Jalen to start stirring some shit up, get those numbers. If Jalen says some shit about Deion on the High Point, like, he'll go viral.
No, it will. It will absolutely.
I don't think he's gonna
viral.
do all that because that's not how Jalen gets down. But no, but like really, you do not want to be that team, or you don't want to be that guy that gives them that bulletin board material. You don't want to be Jay Norvell.
No.
Right? So it's just gonna be really interesting to see how this team throughout this week deals with all the attention and the weird questions that come with playing Deion in Colorado.
Yeah, look, I know we've said, or me specifically has said a lot. I've had opinions about Deion and CU and the whole way that situation really transpired in the offseason and everything moving forward with it. But as much as we talk about it, national media talk about it, the coaches on both sides here have really been like just, I don't want to say wildly respectful, but they've shown a lot of serious respect and love for each other pretty early on. Obviously, in the week, Kenny had his press conference yesterday. He was asked just about really the differences between last year's CU team and then this year's CU team, coached by obviously Deion Sanders. This is what he had to say about the Buffs.
Yeah, they're more talented for sure. Their defensive line is good. Their skill positions are fast. They play really, really hard. They're fundamentally sound, but I think just watching them play, the biggest difference, aside from the talent, is the effort in which they play. This team plays extremely hard. This team runs to the football on defense. This team sprints up to the football on offense with tempo. These wideouts sprint to block. So I think the effort that this team plays with, combined with the talent that they've brought in, are obviously the schemes are drastically different, but those schemes are a dime a dozen. It's the culture that's being created there is one that is, we're going to play competitive, we're going to finish every play, and we're going to play with a passion, and you can see it on the tape.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that you can't deny when you watch this Colorado team is whether you like them or not, whether I like them or not, they've got swag to them, they've got energy, they've got the effort to them.
Yeah. I remember a clip, it was after the Jay Norvell thing, where it was Deion at practice, and he had a bunch of his players gathered around him, and he was doing that thing where he's like, they done messed up and made it, and everyone was like, personal. And you could tell that this whole team was just like riding for Deion. And I'm like, It is like, yeah, you could say whatever you want about the program, about Deion, but the fact of the matter is they have definitely become like, it definitely has the feeling of a team that's been galvanized by all the outside noise, by feeling like their leader in Deion has been unfairly attacked by a lot of people in the media. And so those dudes will ride for each other. I mean, you saw what happened to Travis Hunter after he got hit by Colorado State and his quarterback came sprinting down the field to stick up for him. Like, that's the kind of team this is. They ride for each other. They ride for their coach, and that's a dangerous team. It's also maybe a team, although they have been good about this year by and large, but it's also maybe a team that you can get under their skin a little bit and cause them to start acting out a little bit.
Let their emotions get to them.
Yeah. Again, I don't know that has really happened yet this year, so I don't want to say that like...
I think it was the Oregon game.
Yeah.
And they did it by not responding.
Yeah, honestly, it kind of does feel that way, doesn't it?
It was like the whole Dan Lanning stuff happened, and Colorado came out, I feel like the same way that they've come out to a lot of these games. Like, they try and do that. Mm-hmm. They try and talk their talk. They try and stir the pot.
They came stomping on the logo.
Exactly. And so for Oregon to take almost a military approach of like, we're just not even going to acknowledge what you're doing, and when the whistle blows for the first time, that's when we'll talk with our pads, literally what Dan Lanning said, and that's exactly what happened. Now we talk about, and Kenny talks about, the culture that's being built at Colorado. I feel like we see a lot of that in Kenny Dillingham in Arizona State, because at least for me, covering this year's team versus covering last year's team, it feels different, right? Yeah. Last year's team obviously was really, really bad. And the coaching was really what got to that point. It didn't feel like the players believed, and they didn't have a real tie or love for that staff. Whereas you get to this team, and I know that the results aren't there yet, yet is the big thing there. They will come, they will get there. But you don't see a lack of effort. You don't see a lack of desire. You don't see these guys not going out there for Kenny and truly giving it their all. So I think it's unique to see both these guys' first head coaching job in the Power Five to have already started to build that type of ride or die culture.
Yeah.
Although the results, obviously, with CU have come just a tad faster.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's ultimately, again, yeah, obviously the results have come faster, and I think, you know, ASU does not have a Travis Hunter on their team, so like there is, like I because the point I was going to make is that, like, I think a source of a lot of frustrations as far as Deion goes with ASU fans is that, like, these two programs, these two coaches, these, like, they're not that different. They're not that far apart. They're a lot more similar than I think people realize, and I do think the difference is those, you know, is those couple of guys that Colorado can get that ASU maybe can't get because their head coach is fucking Deion Sanders. But, like, in terms of what they're trying to accomplish, where they are as programs, like, they're not that far apart. And so, yeah, I mean, it is, I think, part of why you see such mutual respect between these coaches. They're both trying to accomplish the same thing, and they both are doing it for, like, what feels like really you can say what you want about Deion, but it does really seem like Deion really enjoys, like, having these kids with him and, like, and kind of having that family with these young men that he coaches. So, like, you know, I had problems with how he handled the Jackson State thing and kind of some of the lies I felt like he told there, but I do feel like now that he's here at Colorado, he's doing it largely for the right reasons. And I don't think you can doubt that at all about Kenny. So, yeah, these are two programs that are both trying to accomplish very similar things and are in very similar places. And I think that's just another layer of why this matchup is so interesting.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a big storyline for Colorado season long has been quarterback Shedeur Sanders, right? This is a kid that obviously coming from Jackson State with his dad, and there were all eyes really from day one, that opening press conference when he pointed over to his son, talking to all the media and all the fans and all the boosters there, right? Of, like, your quarterback's right there. That's your starting quarterback. And then from that moment on, really all eyes have been on Shedeur, and he's lived up to the hype, I feel like, just given the fact that obviously in the Pac-12, it is a quarterback conference really from top to bottom. Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., those three alone feel like they're the three front runners for the Heisman Trophy. And then you got guys like Cam Ward and DJ Uiagalelei. Dante Moore is having himself a decent start to the season. We've seen Trenton Bourguet from time to time. Obviously, last week threw for another 300-something yards kind of out of nowhere. Like, there are quarterbacks in this conference at the top that are studs, and there are guys even in the middle that can really go out there, surprise people, and even win games. Shedeur, I feel like, has been much closer to the top tier all season long, which has been really impressive.
Really good, yeah. No, I mean, I was a fan of his, that, like, just watching film of his from Jackson State. Yeah. I know Shane was very low on Shedeur, but I mean, the reason for it, like, it was a massive question. That's why both of us, I think, had such different opinions on him. Is, like, the question is how is he going to perform against significantly better opponents, better defenses in the Pac-12? And obviously, you know, he's had a stinker. He had a stinker against Colorado or against Oregon, but like, he's clearly, like, a very good quarterback. He's a very talented football player, and appears to be a great leader too. Like, it's very much a program where it seems like everyone kind of rides for each other.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And so, I'm a big fan of Shedeur at the quarterback, the football player. I mean, the person, like, I don't. People shit on Shedeur all the time, but, like, I don't have any reason to believe that he's a bad guy. So, like, he is a lot of what you want in a quarterback, quite honestly, and he's also Deion's son, so there's a lot that comes with that.
Yeah, I mean, Dilly was given, like we said, a lot of love to Coach Prime and the Buffs, and here he is giving a lot of love to Shedeur as well.
Yeah, so I actually recruited him at high school when I was at Auburn. So I got to, meet with him on the whiteboard, and he was phenomenal, super smart as a 16, 17-year-old. I mean, he's just getting up there having fluent conversations. So I was super impressed. He went out on the field in an unbelievable throwing session out in the indoor when we were in a camp session. So it's unbelievable. So seeing him put it together here in college, it doesn't shock me. He's older version of what that 17-year-old was, which is cerebral, smart, has great poise about himself. So I think that's one of his greatest skills. When you watch him back there, similar to Caleb, is he's always poised. He's very hard to get uncomfortable. He's always comfortable, and even if you hit him, he gets up and the next play. He doesn't get rattled very easily, I would say. He's just very poised, very confident, can make every throw, extends plays. So, I mean, he's a really, 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 really good football player.
Really good football player.
Yeah, the poise is one of the things that really sticks out about his game. And again, I think there's a lot of negative ways to look at him being the son of Deion Sanders, but like reality is that being the son of Deion Sanders, especially when the path that Shedeur and him and that family has been on over the last few years, like there's a lot of noise that comes with that. And so like him kind of like being poised on a football field shouldn't be that big of a surprise. Like he deals with shit all the time. But you saw it against Colorado State, right? He had that 90-some-yard drive to, I think, send them to overtime or something like that. Like I think it was Colorado State. But he's put together big drives, and it's shown that like he has a lot of poise, which again I think is unfairly a lot of people might not associate with him just because of who he is and all of that stuff. But Shedeur is good. He's incredibly talented, incredibly athletic, obviously, and then just like mentally in between the ears is also a really good quarterback, and I think that gets lost a little bit.
I do want to get to Glenn's comment because I think it's interesting. She says, Shedeur, a little cocky, though, definitely earned it. I mean, who says they're not coming out to the draft because they want to be number 1 pick, not 2 behind Caleb Williams? What do you think about that?
I mean, I don't see a world in which Shedeur passes Caleb Williams.
What do you think of,
they're not going to the draft because
Shedeur
they want
specifically not entering the draft for that reason?
Yeah, I mean, I could see that maybe being something the Sanders do, but like also I feel like that's just
it feels so dramatic.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like a kind of thing where like Deion and Shedeur, like they just want to keep kind of building what they're doing at Colorado. Like they like kind of having that nomination, and then Shedeur will go to the NFL when he's ready. But I mean, like, look, Deion clearly loves his fucking kids and also has been to the NFL. It's been great in the NFL, in case you didn't know. So he knows like what it takes and all of that stuff. So I'm like, he's not going to push his kid to be a pro before he's ready, or before he thinks he's ready. So I don't know. But
it just seems unnecessary to me.
I think if he was ready to go to the draft, he would. And also, like, I would argue, I get everything that comes with being the number 1 overall pick and all of that stuff, but like, if you're the number 2 pick, you get to be on a better team.
Yeah. Well, in theory.
In theory, yeah, of course. But that's obviously the whole thing. And also, there's all this talk about Caleb not going number 1, about refusing to go number 1. So, and I'm sure the Shedeur doesn't want to be like the number 1 pick just because Caleb didn't want to be the number 1 pick. But still, I don't know. I don't think they're getting to that big of like a conspiracy that they're maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're really into the brand that much that they're playing games like that. But I don't think
that'd be so crazy.
That's an awfully big risk to take.
You're playing with a bag. You're playing with a bag there. Look, and you're playing with a future as well. So that's what Kenny had to say about Deion and Shedeur. We'll get to what Coach Prime had to say about Kenny and ASU here in a second. But first, I want to tell you guys a little bit about DraftKings. Shawn, I told you yesterday, my little brother's 21st birthday. The moment it hit like 12:01, I made sure to send him my DraftKings referral code. Just had to get on it before any of my friends or family members got to it because I could use that bonus money as well. But my brother, he signed up, placed his money line bet, and he did it on the Seahawks, and they won. So he won. His very first thing was free money because it wasn't even a game last night.
The Seahawks, though, dude.
Wasn't even a game last night.
Myers had a chance to hit a 50-yard
field
goal.
I beat you in fantasy football.
Yeah, because Myers missed a 50-yard field goal that would have given me the win. If he hits that field goal, I beat you.
I forgot about that. That's awesome.
It was very devastating, but I'm glad your brother made money on it at least.
No, absolutely. Guys, the NFL season is going strong, and DraftKings Sportsbook is hooking up new customers like my brother or anybody that you know that hasn't signed up with an offer that's even stronger. Bet $5 on any game this week to score $200 instantly in bonus bets. Literally, throw $5 on whatever you want. Maybe you want to do it on the D-backs. Maybe you want to throw $5 on the Commanders or the Bears, which would be crazy to throw money on the Bears. I feel like you got to just fade the Bears at any point this season just because of how bad they are.
They're Caleb Williams. You are a Chicago Bear.
Yeah, guys, DraftKings isn't stopping there. All customers can take advantage of an even sweeter offer every game day this October. Get in on the game day greatness. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use that code PHNX. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet 5 on the NFL. That's code PHNX, only a DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. Shawn, do you have a DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week?
It's the Arizona Diamondbacks money line.
He said it with such just...
Brandon Pott's a fucking savage.
It's happening. The Arizona Diamondbacks. They are.
Fuck the Brewers.
They are.
A wagon.
They are a wagon.
They're a motherfucking wagon.
And they're going to win today. That is the DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week, guys. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino Resort. Licensed partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction.
Jurisdiction.
Yeah, there you go. Couldn't say the word. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after insurance issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football. Terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
What is 160? That seems really random. Is that like a week or something like that?
Sure. I don't know. Maybe.
Like 168 hours just seems incredibly random.
It might be a week.
It probably is something.
No, because 48 hours is 2 days. So 96 hours is 4 days. I don't know. It might be. I don't know.
That sounds about right.
I'm bad about that sounds about
7
a week.
days.
Yeah.
That's about a week. It sounds about all right. We can pull out a calculator, but that seems like
a lot of work.
I'm a photographer. Don't be looking over here.
Yeah, I always love bringing this up. The one math course I had to take in my undergrad was titled Statistics for Liberal Arts Majors.
What does it even mean?
It means that it was for liberal arts majors, which in other words is people who will never need math, which means every single test was open book.
Love that.
It was a complete joke, and it was awesome. I still managed to fail an exam at one point, but that's neither here nor there. What is here is that your brother is 21 years old,
True.
Which means he can finally discover what his favorite Four Peaks beer is, which means you got to take him to the Four Peaks 8th Street pub, get him a flight, let him try. The people there, I think they usually let you sample beers a little bit too. So you can figure out what his is. In the meantime, what is your favorite Four Peaks beer? Four Peaks beer.
Peach ale.
Is it?
Hands down.
Is that has it been like peach ale consistently since we launched a partnership?
It was WOW, and then I had a peach ale, and peach ale is just it. I'm a big like IPA guy, and it almost hits that IPA level of just like the juiciness with
the flavor.
Yeah, with the beer. So it's just so good.
Yeah, the peach is good. I'm always gonna be a WOW guy, but sometimes I do have to get into that IPA life.
No, yeah, but WOW. I mean, WOW was next level too. So.
Hazy, Kilt Lifter, all of it. It's all amazing, and you can get it all at the Four Peaks 8th Street pub. It's amazing. It's also pumpkin porter season, so you can get pumpkin porter. Hopefully, you can get pumpkin porter cheesecake, French onion soup, all of it. Yeah, great food over there. If you haven't been there yet, get there now. You can visit fourpeaks.com/locator to find all your favorite brewery tours and events. Steinholding, Oktoberfest, Haunted Brewery Tours, all right around the corner. Check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. You must be 21 or older, like Totri's brother, to drink Four Peaks. And please drink responsibly.
Is that the new thing? Is that the new thing? Yeah. We're just talking to my brother the entire show. There we go. All right, well, let's see what Deion had to say about ASU and then obviously Kenny Dillingham. I was interested to see how Deion has taken this. I haven't really seen Deion be the first to throw a shot at any of these other coaches, so I didn't necessarily expect it, especially after being at Kenny's press conference yesterday. But there was some interesting whole stuff with what Deion had to say. I didn't realize how deep their relationship had really gone, but this is what Deion had to say about his relationship and history with Coach Dilly.
Got great history. I don't know if he want me to tell this story, but I was assembling a staff once upon a time. I'm not going to tell you who for what, but he was a part of it. And we communicated quite a bit. And I was happy with every step that he's taken because I know he's that guy. I know he's been more than capable. So when I saw him get this opportunity, I was ecstatic. Then we saw him saw one another at the Pac-12 meetings, And that was like, yeah, that embrace was awesome to me because I know his climb and I know what kind of man he is. And he is great for that program. He's great for college football. He is a tremendous mind, offensively, tremendous mind, but he's going to be a great head coach, man. So I have the utmost respect and love and admiration for him because we were going to work together at one point.
He took the high road, man.
Yeah, you know how many ASU fans are probably sick hearing that? They're just like, I want to hate this motherfucker so bad.
They can't. He didn't give him a reason to.
Listen, I love Deion. I'm sorry. Like, I like him. I mean, I said out there, like, it's funny because I'm a person that has an opinion on everything, but people have been so, like, polarizing on this that I'm just kind of like, why do you give a shit so much about what that guy is doing at that other school? Like, just relax. I don't know. But he's a good dude. He's a good dude. There's a reason why players like playing for him, right? Like, because the thing is like everyone's like, oh, it's Deion Sanders. He's just a cool guy. Like, sure, but that's not going to last forever. Like, guys aren't going to want to keep coming there and staying there if he's just like a shit person or like not actually a good football coach. He's pretty good at his job. He seems like a good person. He's just also Deion Sanders. So you can still hate him if you want, right? Like Donald said, I still hate him. That's fine. That's how football fans work. But
where do you think it was? Do you think it was for Dilly to go be at CU?
I don't know. I can't imagine because in what world would he leave, like take a lateral move to a worse program?
To Oregon?
Yeah.
So then where are we talking about?
I mean, someone brought up, I think there was a chance he might have been negotiating for some other jobs at a point.
Dilly or Deion?
Deion. Someone mentioned the Florida State thing. I don't know what that was ever, but like.
Or Deion to ASU maybe?
But again, why would he make, I don't see a world in which this was recent just because I don't see a world in which he's making I would not even a lateral move in terms of position, but to a lesser program.
Yeah.
I feel like it had to have been earlier on in his career, but fuck if I know.
Who knew? I think it's so interesting to hear these coaches talk about one another because you never know the relationships that they really have with each other. So to hear the fact that they almost worked together was pretty crazy, to be honest with you. And I think that staff, I mean, we talked about it while the bite was playing, like that staff would be just so uniquely, like, can you imagine those press conferences? You go to Deion, then immediately after you get Kenny.
Yeah, I mean that's just crazy energy, like crazy, just guy, like just vibes guys there in very different ways. Yeah. Like that's just you're not leaving that. Like that's got to be a local news reporter's wet dream, dog. Like you're never leaving without clips or quotes.
Oh no, by no means. Are you kidding me? I would love to just get those two in like a room and just like have them on the whiteboard dissecting football.
Get Donnie somewhere in there as like an analyst, just so you can have him around for the vibes.
Donnie,
he doesn't need to coach. Can't have him actually having any input. Just there to like eat his salted watermelon and say random shit. Because I think people forget, like we were all on the train, like at the beginning of the season.
The Donnie train?
Yeah,
because he gave us one really good quote.
And he was funny as hell, and like we were like, yeah, hell yeah, let's do it. If he's just there for the vibes, it's kind of like Marv. Like, you don't got to actually do anything. Just be there.
Kind of like Marv.
Just for the vibes.
He's just walking around. We don't really know what he does.
Like, oh, shit, I forgot he's still here.
Like, hey, Marvin Lewis is still here. When did you get here, Marv? What have you been doing for the last...
a decade ago.
What have you been doing for a while, huh? That's crazy that he just wanders the ASU practice. He does just wander the ASU practice facilities.
Yeah.
Clay in the chat, Prime wanted Dilly instead of Sean Lewis. That would be interesting. But like you said, Sean, I don't think necessarily that like Dilly to see you was ever a thing. I'll be curious if I'm able to make it a practice. I'll ask him and see if he'll fill us in on that specific spot. I doubt he'll give us an answer. Yeah. It'll be we got a game.
Yeah, we were all about to take over the coaching staff at Alabama. Saban was thinking about leaving for Texas, and we were going to get that job.
Okay.
Like that, could you imagine some crazy shit like that just threw like
he just dropped it?
Like because like if it comes out that Deion was like almost taking a job at an SEC school, especially if it was Auburn, who kind of fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Like,
that would be crazy.
There's going to be some Auburn people who are not thrilled to hear that news. So,
yeah.
I do wonder.
Oh, my goodness. Well, look, we heard, obviously, what Deion had to say about Dilly. But what about ASU and the program in general? This is what Coach Prime said about ASU.
I mean, they play tough. They don't give up. It ain't no quit in them, of course. I mean, that's who he is. They're like us. They're building something that's going to be tremendous. You just got to keep watching the story and see how it unfolds. But you can't take a team like that lightly whatsoever. Negate the records, negate all that nonsense, and understand this team is building something, and they're going to be phenomenal. I believe in Coach Dillingham tremendously.
Look, man, this is not the first coach to really give a lot of love and praise to this ASU coaching staff and Dilly for what they're building here at ASU. And I know it has been a long season already in just the first handful of weeks, right? Because those results aren't necessarily showing up in terms of wins. If you look across the board, you could find little things here and there. And I think the coaching staff, if you listen to them talk, it's kind of the same, right? They obviously want the results. They want those dubs. They don't want to go on Saturday and see growth just for an L. Like, nobody wants that. Yeah. But it is taking those baby steps, and I think it's been tough, at least from an outside perspective, comparing what Kenny's done because of the success that Deion is having at CU. It's been tough to be like, oh, this is a rebuild. It's going to take time.
Yeah.
When you have on the, a state away, you've got, well, look, we're in a rebuild and we're 3-2. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's been a little bit of a tough upward battle, I guess, for ASU and Dilly. But I think you and I are still on the same page that Dilly was the right guy for this job.
Yeah. I don't have any doubts about that. I don't see a world with, again, maybe the exception of Deion, because he's naturally bringing Shedeur and Travis Hunter with him, presumably. Like, hard to see a world in which anybody is having any kind of success right now, or more success than Kenny is having. Again, it's been 4 games. Like, if you're judging how Kenny is going to be, or even how Colorado is going to be off of 4 games, like, I think that's a mistake. It's not a big enough sample size. And it's obviously worse, but again, like, Saban and Alabama weren't good year one. Like, it programs take time. So.
You know what's crazy is that this is the 6th game. We are after Saturday, we are halfway through the season.
Yeah.
Halfway through year 1 of Kenny Dillingham, and hopefully next year you start to yield the results of the culture shift, of those transfers, of the recruiting that's taking place, of that type of stuff.
Yeah. And also, like, the guy that they started the season with
got hurt. And he's pretty good.
Yeah.
So you never know what this team and this program are going to look like. Obviously, next year or really down the line, it is something to follow, at least in my personal opinion. I think the results will eventually come, but it would help that upward trajectory. It would put this team back in a really solid position, I think, if you were able to get your second win of the season, taking down a team like Coach Prime's Buffs. I do want to get to our Pac-12 Power Rankings. Before we do that, I want to tell you about our friends over at Burrito Express. We have this lovely tradition at PHNX Sun Devils. Every single road game, and there's only 4 this season for ASU. So this last one against Cal, we had to take advantage of the opportunity. We stop at Burrito Express. We get our lovely, lovely burritos, and we come back and we eat them here. We watch the game, and it sets the tone. It sets the tone for the day.
It does.
For Burrito Express. I had a steak and egg, and I added bacon, and I had it yesterday too. I'm going to be honest with you. It was just that damn good. The Burrito Express is just bomb, dude.
I'm not shaking my head because I think Burrito Express isn't bomb. I'm shaking my head because I wasn't offered any Burrito Express.
I didn't come to the office yesterday,
You
man.
could have.
Just to deliver you a burrito? No, that would have been serious friendship right there.
Would have been.
That would have been. I'm sorry.
Sean, if it makes you feel better, I didn't get one on Saturday.
That's true. That is true. And
I didn't know.
Who did text Danielle before to ask if she wanted something? Me.
And what did Danielle say?
That she had already left the coffee shop, so she didn't want coffee. But
Sean texted me as I was coffee in hand, opening the door, literally as I was leaving the coffee shop, if I wanted any coffee.
But at least I asked.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Well, I'll be sure to ask next time.
Yeah, damn sure you will.
Guys, grab a burrito from Burrito Express. They got locations all over the valley, and follow them on social at BurritoEXP.
And depending on what Burrito Express location you go to, you could get gas at the same time because, as we found out last week from Danielle, there's a Circle K Burrito Express combo. Where is it again? Baseline and Higley? Is that what you said it was?
Higley and the freeway.
Higley, okay,
and the 60.
So, like, come on now. And even if you're going to one of the other great Burrito Express locations, you're going to have to stop at Circle K, get yourself a Polar Pop.
True.
Maybe a coffee if you're getting yourself a breakfast burrito to kind of get your day started. You know, Burrito Express got the burrito. Circle K's got everything else. Circle K, America's thirst shop, got the best gas in the country. And it's even better when you get 25 cents off per gallon because if you join their new free Inner Circle Club, which you can do just by joining the app, you get 25%. I always keep saying 25%.
It's all good, man. It's
25 cents off per gallon for your first 5 fill-ups. You also get your 6 selection of a variety of things for free. You know, pizza, coffee, hot food things, all that kind of stuff. So make sure you join the Inner Circle today by downloading the Circle K app. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details.
Look, we've already played the clips of Deion talking about ASU and vice versa, Dilly talking about Prime in CU. So definitely, if you're listening on audio, if you're watching live, go back, take a look at those clips. They're definitely worth looking at on social as well. There's a couple posted there. But I do want to get to our Pac-12 power rankings. Sean, without further ado, what do you got happening in the Pac-12 this week, man?
Not a whole lot, because I was right last week. Who said Utah, or who said Oregon State and Wazoo were better than Utah?
Oh, yeah.
This guy.
Yeah,
who said
did.
Oregon was the best team in the conference? This guy. And who still has Oregon as the best team in the conference? This guy. Listen, I just think you saw Washington struggle against a U of A team that's just not that good, playing with their backup quarterback. And so I obviously still think they're a great team, and we've seen USC struggle too, but Oregon has just been rolling, dominant. I think they're clearly the best team in the conference right now, followed by Washington and USC. I think those three are still clearly in the top three. Wazoo and Oregon State after that. I still love Oregon State, but obviously Wazoo beat Oregon State, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, in one hell of a Pac-12 game. So I got to keep Wazoo above Oregon State, especially because Wazoo was off last week, right? So they didn't.
Yeah.
Nothing I can really do to move them there. Utah, I keep at 6 because that's where I had them last week, because they're clearly worse than Oregon State. Still don't have Cam Rising, right? So they're still a question mark there, but which is why I'm not dropping them any lower. But Oregon State's a better team than they are. Utah, and then I think this is where the conference dies. Maybe at Utah, depending on what they look like with Cam Rising. But after this, these are the teams that I don't think are are outside of the Pac-12 championship picture. Colorado, UCLA. I did move Arizona up despite a loss and Cal down despite a win, because Arizona competed against Washington. I think they played Noah Fafita. If I'm Tommy Lloyd,
wow,
Tommy Lloyd. Oh my God.
If you're Tommy Lloyd, what?
If I'm Tommy Lloyd, I'm not doing anything with this football team. I'm a basketball coach. If I'm Jed Fish, I am sticking with Noah Fafita, and I think that makes them a better football team and puts that program in a better position to succeed, not just this season, but next season as well. So I like them a little bit better than a Cal team who did not look great against an Arizona State team that did not look great, which is why I have ASU at 11, and then Stanford's going to stay at the bottom of the conference forever. We might eventually need to get back to putting random things there because Stanford's so bad.
I loved that tradition.
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun. All right, let's see what I got this week for my Pac-12 power ranking. Sean, I think mine
look at that.
Mine look kind of similar, but there is a few differences here. I do have Oregon as number 1. Look, we said last week I had Washington at the time. I think you could make a case for either one of these teams at 1. I don't think that they're that far apart, and I think there is a world realistically where these are your two teams in the Pac-12 championship game. They're just that good, and they both have better defenses than USC. Because of that, I do have to move Washington down a spot. They did struggle a little bit with Arizona. They did end up getting the win, and Michael Penix Jr. is still Michael Penix Jr., but that's why they're at 2. SC stays put. I thought about potentially dropping them below Oregon State just because of the defense and just because they let Colorado kind of claw their way back, but still Caleb Williams is Caleb Williams. It's hard to really keep USC out of the top 3. I'm with Clint. I've got Oregon State above Wazoo. This one was tough for me because Wazoo is still undefeated, and so it was tough for me, but Oregon State
just beat Oregon State.
Oregon State got a big win.
No, they did, and you know how I feel about Oregon State.
Yeah.
I have a future out on them to win the conference, which is why that loss to Wazoo hurt my soul so heavily, because I think they're a better team. I think there's a top 3 team in the conference quite possibly.
Oregon State?
Yeah, I think there's a world in which they are better than USC. I would really like to see that game.
They will be the college football playoff spoiler for, I think, one of those 3 teams at the top. It's going to be interesting to see how the Pac-12 kind of plays out. I do have Wazoo at 5. No movement. They were off last week. I do like Cam Ward and what they're doing. I think they're already having a hell of a season and a win of a season based off of kind of the offseason that's transpired. Utah drops 2 spots. Hand up, I was wrong. They need Cam Rising back. Otherwise, it might be a downward spiral for Utah, especially when they have to face some of these top-tier teams like an Oregon and Washington in an SC. Colorado stays put despite a loss because they did find a way to make it close against Caleb Williams and USC.
Apparently, I think it's just going to be the MO for USC football games this year.
Oh, absolutely. Arizona stays put despite a loss because they were in a dogfight with Washington. They showed life. UCLA stays put because they were off this past week. Arizona State, I should have had go down to 11. Cal is at 10.
Up again.
I might have messed up. I don't know if it was you, but yeah, Cal should be at 10. Arizona State should be at 11.
Oh, I messed up again.
Cal.
God damn. Sorry, Donald. He specifically asked for me not to make any mistakes in the graphics this week, and I did.
Cal did beat ASU. That's why they are 10. Arizona State falling to 11. They can definitely climb this week, though, with a win over Colorado. And then Stanford, you sit there at 12 like the little baby in the corner.
Yeah, you've seen Shark Tales, right?
Yeah.
You know, the thing where he pulls it down and he's like, the food chain.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, so that's where I am. It's
He's
like,
like,
after
no.
you get to like, you get past Colorado and UCLA, Stanford's like, oh, that's where I am. It's like, no. There's whale poop, and then there's you.
There's Wazoo, UCLA, Utah. He's like, okay, so I'm there. Like, no. Then there's Arizona, Cal. Like, you're there. It's like, no. There's Arizona State, whale poo, and then you. And there's Stanford. No, that's exactly what it is. God, that's such a damn good movie.
It is. Working in
Shark
there,
Tale.
dude.
Car wash.
That's a hot fish. You know exactly what I'm
Oh,
talking
I know.
about.
The angel. She's an angel
She's
fish.
a hot
Yeah,
fish.
she's a hot fish. God damn. What are we
Thirsting
doing
over cartoon
a
fish
cartoon
is what we're
fish?
doing.
I think Angelina Jolie plays the voice for that fish too.
I'm not going to say anything else.
Angelfish. That's all I'm gonna say.
Donald says SMH. It happens, Sean. It'll be right next week.
Will it, Sean?
I don't know. Will anything be right next week?
If you know, you know. And what we do know is we're going to see all you guys on Saturday when we go to Illegal Pete's because it's a vibe.
Yeah. We're going to have DNVR people not at Illegal Pete's because we don't allow them there.
Boo!
Somewhere else, so they can't bother us. Maybe we'll find them and talk shit to them at some point.
There are so
as a
many
group.
DNVR stickers at Illegal Pete's.
Really?
They're everywhere.
At the Tempe location?
Yes.
I blame RK.
Literally everywhere.
I think RK
as
did
well. So we might have to do something about that. But yeah, no, it's gonna be a vibe, dude. Another nice day game.
Yeah.
So you know it's gonna be good times. The weather has been fucking unbelievable this last week or so. So you know the patio is gonna be popping. And maybe we can get spicy marks.
Yeah, hell yeah. Join us for a pregame meetup and then a live PHNX Sun Devils postgame show over at that Tempe location. A little
We'll be signing autographs.
PHNX Sun Devils game day hangout. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And I have reason to
regardless.
believe there's going to be, it's not going to be us. You're going to see a handful of
oh, yeah. It sounds like there's
PHNX
going to be a
folks.
lot of PHNX folks there.
yeah. I mean, again, and you'll probably run into some DNVR folk. I have to assume.
Absolutely. Down in the chat. Damn it, I wish I could be there and riot with the NVR.
Hop on a flight, bro.
Hop
we
the
have
Discord.
a fact check here on Shark Tales. It is Renee Zellweger.
That plays the angelfish?
As the angelfish.
Is Angelina Jolie not anywhere in that movie? She's not in the cast at all?
She is.
Where is she?
She is. She is a lionfish.
She's a
Who is
lion?
only interested in those who are rich and famous.
Oh, so
Oh, yeah,
that's
she
who
was-
we're talking. Wait, so
No.
I fucked up the fish.
Yeah, no. The fish I was talking about was the good fish.
Oh, you were talking about the good fish.
Yeah, I was talking about. I think so.
Oh, I was talking about the gold digger fish.
Maybe I don't. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie. Now that I think about it, it was 2004 that movie was made. Oh my god. Oh yes. Yeah, Jolie is the gold digger.
Yeah,
fish.
yeah.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
the
that's
one
the
that
one
you
I'm talking
guys
about. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, we're on the same. We're on the
Okay,
same.
we were talking about.
I
this.
forgot that
we-
she wasn't the main character. She wasn't the good fish though. That's what I forgot.
We need to have better taste in women.
We mixed up. we mixed up species of fish over here.
Yeah. We need to have a better taste in fish.
Come out to Illegal Pete's, guys. It's gonna
Yeah.
be an absolute blast. The queso is fire. The
Promise
tacos
not
are
to
amazing. The
objectify cartoon fish.
drinks are gas. Come out there, guys. Illegal Pete's, your go-to spot, whether it be summer, fall, winter, football season. It really doesn't matter. Illegal Pete's always is that spot. Stop by for happy hour, 3 p.m. through 8 p.m. every day at all 12 locations. Illegal Pete's, the go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beer for 28 years.
And again, I don't know if you heard, Totri's brother is 21, which means he can finally partake in recreational marijuana. And if you're going to participate in recreational marijuana in the state of Arizona, there's one way to do it, and it's with our family over at OG's, Arizona's number one edible, according to Phoenix New Times.
Yeah.
It's just a fact that it's just an undeniable fact. They have been chosen as Arizona's number one THC edible. I mean, I don't know. You could be one of those people who doesn't want to partake in the best because you're a contrarian. Cool for you. You can miss out if you want. All the cool kids are going to be taking OGs.
You are really, like, if you opt to not take OGs, you're missing out.
You're actively preventing yourself from getting the best. when it is readily
Yeah, I don't
available.
get it. I don't
And I know some
understand.
people are gonna be like, "Oh, I don't know where to get it." Go to ogsbrands.com and they'll be able to point you to a dispensary near you to find OGs. They got something for everybody, right? Indica, sativa. They got microdose, sleepy time gummies, CBD, THC, 1-to-1 happy balance ratios. They got it all. Great flavors. It's candy, bro.
It really is.
With a little, little something going with it. So check out our friends over at OG's Brands for yourself and try one or a few of their many delicious flavors. Check them out across all socials at OG's Brands and online at ogsbrands.com to find them at a local dispensary near you. You must be 21 or older, like Tochi's brother, to enjoy responsibly.
There we go. Yeah, a couple comments in the chat. Donald, Totri's for sure taking OGs and rewatching this movie now. Donald, I've already done that, but I'm going to do it again because OGs is just the best.
They are.
Really is the best.
They are. It makes movie viewing experience.
Jose in the chat, there's only one fish.
Nemo.
That's fair, man. Nemo.
Sure. Yeah.
Nemo's a dog.
Jose also saying poor kid already getting peer pressured. First off, let me say this.
My brother did have a beer last night.
Who did? And we already talked about him having beers in the Four Peaks read. So we got Four Peaks, and then he graduated onto the OJs.
Shout out my little brother for having a birthday, but also being the what's the word? The star of our ad reads today.
Yeah. I
So,
don't know what I would have done without him.
Shout out. Well, we would have probably just read them like normal.
Yeah, but then they would have been a mess. And
It would have been a mess.
yeah, shout out your brother.
Oh man, yeah, Wanikin. It's personal.
It's personal.
It is personal all week long, and we're going to be right back here 2 p.m. every single day leading up to that game, talking ASU, Colorado. We're going to have one of our good buddies, Jake, over from DNVR. He's going to be on the show, I believe, either tomorrow or Thursday. We should have some more sound from ASU players and coaches tomorrow that we're going to play for you guys. It sounds like there's going to be a high point at some point this week as well. So definitely your one-stop shop for all things Arizona State. Do us a favor. Do Bobby Hurley a favor. Leave a like. Hit that like button, man. Bobby, he's begging. He's pleading. He just, he just wants a like. That's all he wants. And he wants to do this and a like.
Run the Princeton.
If you enjoyed the content today, guys, give us a follow over at PHNX _Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow this guy right here, Senor Semprientes himself at Shawn_DePaz.
Fucking cheering on the D-backs as always. Let's fucking go. We got an hour until game time.
And we will see you guys Wednesday, 2 p.m., hump day, right back here. Be there or be square. It's personal. Peace.